Hi guys, so today I'm going to be talking about how Rian Johnson is apparently getting his own Star Wars trilogy. I'm going to break this video up into two parts, the good and the bad. Now I know what you're thinking, how could anything good come out of this, but I think George Lucas would want us to look on the light side, and I want to see if there's anything positive about this new development. Before I begin, I just want to say that this isn't a personal attack on Rian Johnson. I think that he's probably a very nice guy, I just don't think he's cut out for Star Wars at all. And I'm sure he does have some great skills as a director, but again, not suited for Star Wars. Now we'll dive into the negative part of the video. Star Wars is obviously very traditional. Star Wars was obviously first created by George Lucas, and it's clear that Disney is having a very difficult time living up to his sense of what is right and what is wrong in the Star Wars universe. It feels like there's only two people in all of Lucasfilm who seem to be able to understand and be able to do what George Lucas did, this being Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Even them, however, cannot seem to live up to the George Lucas legacy. So by that logic, shouldn't Dave and Jon team up together to make one of the most epic Star Wars trilogies the galaxy has ever seen? It might even live up to what George Lucas did. So why is Rian Johnson making a Star Wars trilogy? Well, the reason why he's getting this job is because he's tight with Kathleen Kennedy. Basically, he's allowed to make an incredibly important decision which could impact Star Wars fans forever because he's buddies with the head honcho at Lucasfilm. Need I remind you, this is the same guy who practically tore our entire fandom apart, and he only did this in one movie. Now he's got a whole trilogy to do this. But why the hell does this man pose such a risk on the entire Star Wars fandom? Personally, I think this comes down to his directing strategy. He wants to create films where half of the audience hates the movie and half of the audience loves it. Now this would work great if he was creating his own franchise, where this was expected when you went into the movie theater. And who knows, maybe if he created a franchise it would be blockbuster, but for Star Wars that's not how it works. Star Wars has a lot of boundaries which are set within it. It isn't some sandbox where you can go and do whatever you want in it. George Lucas created these boundaries, and clearly they work. Don't get me wrong, Disney should expand Star Wars, however they should continue to follow George Lucas's dream. This means follow the rules and show our old characters in the best light possible. One of the big rules, which Disney has broken several times, is that you need a good plot. Even though George Lucas's scripts are clunky, they still have an incredible plot. And clearly the key to Star Wars is plot. Look at the prequels. If you mark them as an average film, they should be terrible. Their dialogue is clunky. For the first two films, the CGI is questionable at best, but because they're Star Wars films and they have such a good plot, they're considered some of the best films in the Star Wars franchise to date. The prequels stayed really close to the original characters and how they were supposed to act. Also, they had a great plot. This is something which Disney has struggled with, especially in the sequel trilogy, and Rian Johnson especially has had a very difficult time sticking to these rules. Star Wars is clearly not a normal franchise. If you are not able to accept Star Wars' rules and you are not able to change to suit Star Wars, then you are clearly not cut out to direct a Star Wars movie, nor write one. Also, you have to accept what happened before and stay true to that. These are skills which Rian Johnson clearly doesn't possess. He may be a fantastic director, but he is not a Star Wars director. And to be a great Star Wars director, you don't need to be a great director, you need to understand how Star Wars works. Now let's switch into a different lane where we talk about the good that could happen with Rian's trilogy. First of all, we have to remember that The Last Jedi is a pretty cinematic movie. In The Last Jedi, it is pretty beautiful, however it's the writing which seems to really negatively affect the film. It's really the characters which take the biggest blow in this film. Take Luke Skywalker, for example. The Last Jedi, for many people, butchered Luke Skywalker's character. Rian Johnson seems to take a lot of liberties with the characters which he's working with, which seems to butcher them to many audiences. However, if he had a whole new cast of characters, these characters might actually be pretty good. Actually, Rian's whole problem is that he can't stick to the rules in his writing. If The Last Jedi was a movie which isn't Star Wars, it would be a pretty good movie. However, because it's a Star Wars movie, it really does not live up to fans' expectations at all. Of course there's Star Wars fans who like The Last Jedi, but it feels as though the majority of Star Wars fans don't. However, if Rian paired up with somebody like Dave Filoni, he might be able to make an excellent Star Wars movie with Filoni's guidance. First, they'd have to start off with something small like a miniature TV show. With time and effort, Rian might be able to truly understand Star Wars and what it means to the fans. Quick side note here, it seems like Rian is going through the 7 stages of grief. And if he is, that's pretty damn sad. In saying that, however, if he really wants to create a good Star Wars movie, he needs to accept what he did and be able to move on. I think with the right mentorship and a good understanding of Star Wars, he could be able to create something great. And if he's taking his failure in the Star Wars department so hard, he might actually be able to come back from that and create something really good, somewhat like Anakin. Also, he can't write another Star Wars movie because with the current understanding that he has of the franchise, he clearly isn't fit to write anything like that. If Rian can learn from his previous failures, then he can do something really good because he has hit rock bottom in the Star Wars franchise. Also, at first he didn't really want to do The Last Jedi, he wanted to do his own trilogy. I think that's worth saying because you never know, he might have a really good idea, but I'm not sure if that really changes anything too much. But when he was making The Last Jedi, he thought he was making the next Empire Strikes Back, so that really makes me question his judgment, even more than I did before. To sum the whole video up, he's either going to do something great or catastrophic for the franchise, and either way it's going to change it completely. And if Rian Johnson truly wants to create a good Star Wars movie, he needs to take a good long look in the mirror before he does anything. Anyway guys, that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Like and subscribe, and also let me know in the comments if I should do more videos like this, and may the Force be with you, always.